Okay, well, we should probably start talking now. So, we're here at the mini roundhouse. We're making good progress. It's very similar to the roundhouse that I've built before. I'll link to that on the channel. That was a bigger one. But with this one, we've got higher walls in relation to the rafters themselves, and that means it just gives you a bit more headroom inside. If we went for lower walls, then the rafters would be lower and it would be, you know, a little bit narrower on the head. So what we've done is we've got some thatch. This is water reed, and I've explained this in videos before. It's got a hollow stem to it, and it's been used as a thatching material for thousands of years really, with these hollow holes, and it just sheds off rain really easily. And you just lay it down and you lay it with the seat head up. A lot of people struggle to understand that with thatching, but you certainly here in the UK, traditional thatching, you lay it with the seed head up like that, and it just gives you it makes it kick out at the bottom, and the water it's the way it grows, it's the way the plant grows out of the ground. It just helps that water to travel down the chute and then shoot off at the end. So we're going to leave a bit of an overhang on the eaves here. Last time when I did the roundhouse, we thatched it last. So we did the wattle and daub, the clay walls first, and then thatched it last. And what happened was, the walls were open to the elements, and it meant that whenever it rained and it dried and it rained and it dried and it was sunny, it just cracked, and it ended up cracking the clay loads. So we're going to do it slightly differently here. We're going to put the thatch on first and then do the clay and the wattle absorb. That way when we've got the clay on there, it is out of the elements, it's totally waterproof because of the thatch above it. That's the theory anyway, and hopefully it should work. So we're going to lay this thatch on in different layers now, spread it out, tie it down with some liggers. We're not going to do it with spars, which is the twisted hazel spikes that I've used before. We are going to do it with just cordage, some bank line, and just tie it down. So this is the hazel. We're going to use this as liggers, which is a piece of essentially a stick to pin the thatch down to the rafters and the battens themselves. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and let's crack on. You'll have water really growing over your bottom. Right there, under, and then it's going to be really thick, so let's cut it early. So we'll snap this stick. Don't put on any more there, you'll snap it. You've got the last cut it, yeah? put overhanging wall. You're aware of it first. I'll roll some under there. So we've made progress on the roof. We've done the first layer of thatch. Hopefully you can see that. I'll show you a bit closer in a minute. But here is our dilemma. We have run out of water reed, which is what the first layer is. Ideally we'd need obviously another layer to cover that stick ligger there. We need another layer there and then a straw cap on the top. But what we do have, and what Dad kept from the Saxon house ages ago, a couple of years ago when I did the ridge of the Saxon house, is long straw, and I'll show you that's down here. So we'll just show you the difference, and we've got enough hopefully to do another thin layer around the top and potentially do the cap, but it's gonna be tight. This is water reed. You can see that the seed head, it's really fine, and actually the seeds are kind of coming off now already. If I shake it you can see them coming off. So that's the water reed, and this is long straw, and it's quite easy obviously to identify because of these seed heads here. Ideally we need to get these seed heads off, because what will happen is the seeds will start to fall out. This will peel to the side. The seeds will start to fall out and we'll get new straw growing on the roof. Well, that might look pretty and cool, but actually it's the seeds that drop on the floor that then attract all the mice and the rats, which is not ideal. So at some point we might need to get rid of these seed heads. But that's the difference. Also with the straw is that obviously this is way thicker, but it's much more brittle, so it bends, which is why you can use it as a cap. It doesn't kink as much, you can make it rounded, whereas this is kind of brittle and it just breaks. So that's why you use it as a ridge cap material. But this is what we've got. 4 bundles, is it, Dad? It's 4 bundles, but they were triples because they all broke apart. We had, I can't tell you how many bundles we had, but I just couldn't bear I couldn't bear wasting them. So I split the bundles apart, made giant bundles of them, and tied them up in my rafters of my garage. So we thought we only had 4 left. Excuse me, but now we look, they're double or triple size. So we're hoping we can just about get away with it. I think we can. So as you can see here, this is what we did with the, you'll see it in there, but there's essentially a, let me make that brighter. There's a triangle for the entrance that we made, a little triangle entrance and a ridge, and that's what's sitting up there now, and this is as far as we've got. We use no spars for this, we just use cordage and these hazel leggers with no spars. So we're doing it slightly differently than traditionally done, well, quite a bit differently. But what we need to do now is layer up and then keep going up towards the ridge, and that's when we can then make a straw, hopefully enough, a straw cap to go on top, and we'll have to trim it because it looks like it needs a bit of a haircut at the moment. And but it's looking good, and the cabin's just sitting here in the sun, looking quite nice. Dad's put some flowers outside from the looks of it. We've got daffodils, petunias, Dad? Looks like a petunia.
Yeah, they're F1s.
Yeah.
They would be F1 through the winter. They've not been great through the winter, but now we've got them out in the sun. A little bit of warm weather. They've reheaded. They got a head on them and they're not coming out. And the daffodils, new bulbs this year.
It's looking good. Look at
the
look at, yeah, we'll have a look in a bit. We showed them in the last video, but that is the cabin, and obviously you've got this nice sunny view. So we've got the we've got the cabin there, and then this is where the roundhouse is. So we've got some trimming to do in a minute. We're just covering that layer. Right, now wrap that round.
There you want to need.
Now another piece, same facts.
Got a needle now?
No, we do another one more layer. Thinner layer, half that load actually, and then we'll tie off.
downwind. When we both did it.
They join us a few weeks later now from when we did the thatch. Quite a few weeks later. I'm in a t-shirt. Wasn't back then, I think it was back end of winter. And we're at the stage now where we're gonna clay the walls, as they say, but wattle and daub. But what we're using is more of a cob mix this time than what I used previously in the Saxon house and the roundhouse. That clay, that mix basically, it consisted of mostly clay with straw and water, quite a bit of mud mixed in with that clay as well. The result was where we'd done it in the open without the roof on first. Like I said in that episode, it just dried and then it got wet from the rain, and it dried and it got wet, and it left really big cracks because of all that moisture inside just evaporates and expands and contracts, and it just causes huge cracks. Now you're always gonna get cracks on structures like this, but you can plaster over it with a real fine layer of just water and fine clay with a bit of sand. But just each time it cracks, and just keep filling in those cracks, and eventually you get that solid wall layer. But what we're doing here is roughly 4 parts clay to 4 parts sand to 1 part clay to 1 part straw, roughly. It's an estimation. We're not measuring it out properly. We're just doing it here in this wheelbarrow. But yeah, and what I'm finding is it's producing a much finer mix with that sand, and that will hopefully help really bind it all together and create less cracks down the line. That's the theory anyway. So Dad's gone to get more sand. I'm going to crack on mixing the last of this bag of sand here in with this clay and some straw, and we're going to do the outside and then we'll do the inside. So stick around, folks. This is the sand, so it's building sand, so it's nice and coarse. I wouldn't personally use that sort of beach sand, or the sand that you can get for like kids' play pits and things like that, the really fine stuff. That would be okay for plastering a layer over the cracks, but it's not going to bind like this coarse building sand will. So this stuff's really good, this coarse stuff, especially once it's mixed in with the clay and added with a bit of water. But let me tell you folks, it's horrible to dig clay once it's wet. It's real good fun. Those who know will know. Where's the shovel? Let's do this properly. You slap it in it just wedges in between the gaps of the hazel, the sticks, the woven sticks. And it just means that it can sit on itself and create that strong foundation, and really you want to build it up from the bottom and work up so that it has a solid foundation to dry on and it's all supported. And then you can smooth it off afterwards with the, I've got gloves on today, but with the palm of your hand. Normally I don't use the gloves, but because I'm recording I have to keep going back to the camera. It's easy just having gloves to then take them off and move the camera around. It's great to work with though once it's done. Traditionally, thousands of years ago, they would have used animal dung, and they still do to this day. Horse manure, cow manure, and that gives it that is the glue. That gives it a really good binding ability. And that is the very traditional kind of technique where they wouldn't have had the sand so much, they would have used the dung for that. But because we've got sand, we don't need to. Yeah, leave it. Go on. Go on. The clay is on well. you can see it's gone on much smoother than clay I've done in the past with the addition of that sand. We've still got obviously the inside to do, there's stuff to do there, but we've got all the way around the outside. We did quite a bit today, all the way around here. We've just got a few panels to do up there, and then the inside. Thatching is good, I'm pleased with that. We're gonna leave it staggered and not blend it in because it's something different. I like the look of it, and it's, yeah, normally I would blend it in with the drifter, but I think that's quite nice as it is. Dad's finishing one of the last mixes of today.
It's the last mix of the day, it is indeed. And I'll be applying to Amazon for some new elbows and wrists.
You don't stop. Do you want to show them your fire pit, Dad, that you've done? Because actually they've seen that footage and we haven't explained what it is.
Mike had some spares. Good man, never throw anything away of these slabs. So I thought, as you saw in that, I've got them concrete in as best I can. Got my steel plate there, and the steel plate is bigger. It's out here somewhere, all the way round, you know, for heat dissipation. But listen, it's not like a forest, it's in my back garden. As you can see, I have had the fire, no problem at all. We've yet to have a cook up on it. I'll put this one down there for pots and pans. Originally we got this here, this space, for another build.
It was, wasn't it? Going to be a different shelter.
Build. Then I thought, well, you think if you're doing a mini village, you're going to need a sort of communal area. So we're going to build the other side of here of the pallet cabin and sit on the veranda, have a fire here, go in there. We got an option, we can have fires
Eve's totally spoiled. We're going to do a little party at some point. And then she can come round and we can roast marshmallows on the fire.
Crack a beer, she like a beer.
Crack a beer, yeah. But yeah, it's great. So, and look at the backdrop, like we've got the hut nearly done.
Yeah.
Fire pit area. If you want to watch any of these builds that we're doing, this is called the Mini Village series, and we're doing it for my daughter. So if you want to catch up, it's a great project for me to spend time with Dad, but also for you guys who want to get inspired and do things in your backyard, because that's what it's about.
Backyard builds is what it's all about.
Back garden building, and it's just all accessible. It's good fun, and hopefully you're enjoying the series. It's something a little bit different. We're certainly enjoying it, and we've got a few more ideas that we're going to do here to create the village. But after this, there'll probably be one more episode on this little roundhouse and this area, and then we'll be cracking on with the next one. So if you are not subscribed to Dad's channel, TA Fishing, what are you doing in life? Head on over there.
Fishing.
Head on over there, TA Fishing. Look it up on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below. Hit the subscribe button. He's near 300,000 subscribers. It'd be awesome to see him get it. Hopefully this year, but if not, really soon. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.